Welcome to Active Directory, where I'm in Windows 2019 at the moment. I'm going to install Active Directory onto this device. Then I'll promote it to a domain controller. This is a really important episode. Now, I have to do a couple of housekeeping tasks first before I actually go ahead with the installation of Active Directory. First of all, I need to change the computer name. And we did the same thing with the Windows 10 device. We're in Active Directory now. Naming conventions is everything. DNS is a crucial part of Active Directory, and we do search for resources for computer names. It's really, really important in Active Directory. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, unfortunately though, we have to restart the computer. So don't patch or update. It'll take a long time. Let's get this done first so you can patch later. Which is bad advice because you should patch, but it's just going to take you time. Right-click Windows System and rename this PC exactly like we did in the Windows 10 episode, and we're going to call this Harry DC. You can call it what you like, but make sure like DC stands for domain controller. It has to be meaningful, like, instead of that win and blah 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 right after that. So this going to restart this now. And just click on OK for other plant. So there's another problem with this installation, especially if you're in a virtual machine environment. The other issue is the administrator account. I was able to click on administrator without entering a password because it created a username. You might recall an installation of Windows episode. I was able to, and by the way, I was able to just enter administrator, which I'll show you now. By the way, up here, if we go, that's where the Alt Control button is. Because if you press Alt Control button, your host will then go into that other screen. But click on here and that will push that Alt Control inside. Did you notice I didn't need a password for this? That's really bad. And Active Directory, you can't promote it as a server. You can't promote it as a domain controller if the administrator does not have a root password. Password. So let's do that first. And the way to do that is right-click Windows. We'll go back into computer management this time. And we're going to go into the local account settings this time. So we'll go to local users and groups. This is not Active Directory. There is no Active Directory at this point. Go into users. There's administrator, right click, set password, proceed. It won't work without this. This lab just will not work if we don't do this. So please do it. One, okay, password's been set, great. All right, step number 2. This is getting an IP address through DHCP from my router, which is upstairs. So if I click on search and I type in command line, I want to see, this is the quickest way of finding out what my IP address is. ipconfig /all, and there it is. That's the IP address that's been given to me. Actually, I've got a NAT set up. So this is the DHCP for this NAT network. Really quickly, let's have a quick look at how I got that. If I go into VMware, edit, virtual network editor, we'll find out a bit more information here. Scroll that over, I'll bring that over here. You'll notice that up here, we have NAT, which is fine. We can stick with that, no problems. But that's the subnet IP. And you'll notice down here that we got an IP address of 136 because the NAT gave us that. Okay, we can work with this, no problems. The problem is, though, is Active Directory server actually has to have a static IP address. It cannot have a DHCP, it won't work. And the reason is all the other resources in the network, in the environment, the production environment, needs Active Directory to be stable and the IP address has to be the same. Otherwise, the computers can't find it all the time, can't find Active Directory. It is so important. It must have a static IP address. In fact, I would say that's true for all servers, file servers, print servers, web servers. They should always have the same IP address. Maybe web servers, maybe not, but file servers, but definitely Active Directory must have its own IP address. So let's go ahead and configure it. There's many ways we can do this. I could have done it through the command line. I could do it through PowerShell. There's a new way, there's an old way. Do whatever way you like, but I'm going to do it this way because I've been doing it since the late 90s, since Windows 98, or Windows 95 actually. It's been pretty much the same way. So I'll right click that Windows. Looks a little bit different than 95, but you know, Ethernet, change adapter options, and this is the one that's been very similar throughout the decades. Right click the Ethernet adapter, Internet version 4, use the following address. I'm going to just choose my own. I'm not following any instructions, or this is when you perform your lab at school, there might be a lab with the instructions on how to change the IP address. I'm going to do it my own way just for this demonstration. 192.168.1.1, and then we'll leave that subnet as it is. The default gateway, actually, we should pay attention to that if we want internet. So we'll have to go back to the virtual network editor. That one is important because we need to make sure that it's it's in the 154 network. So if that's the case, if we want internet, and if we need it, internet's a gateway that allows our network to exit. Then we should follow that. So in that case, let's follow. That's fine. We'll make that 154 and 1, and then 192.168.154, and then a .1 at the end for the default gateway. Now, actually, that IP address for the Active Directory should be different than the default gateway. We'll make that a 10. Fine. Cool. DNS server. Guess what? We are the DNS server. Yep, we are. We will be soon. Okay. We might put an alternative as well. So we'll do the Cloudflare's for the internet. But this one, the DNS, Active Directory relies on DNS to convert names of computers and names of resources in our Active Directory environment, right, to an IP address in our local area. And this alternative DNS is just a backup, just in case this doesn't work. All right, you can do validate settings upon exit if you want to. It's fine. Okay. And it's just validating. It's pretty much useless, so don't bother. But it worked anyway. Fantastic. We have now completed our housekeeping. We haven't even installed Active Directory yet. We've spent 8 minutes not even installing Active Directory, but we will do that now. Manage, add roles and features, next, and this is a really crucial element. You need to pay attention to this. Now, didn't I change that? But why didn't that change? That's a problem. But that changed, that's good. The name changed, great, but that didn't. So I need to exit that. Now, I did change it. But if I refresh this, and all right, then go back into that, I'm hoping for my own sanity and my own peace of mind. Yeah, I did change. Whew, thank God for that. For a second there, I thought I was losing it finally. But there we go. So that's the correct IP address. That's a static IP address. That'll always be that way. Later on down the track in this series, I'll be creating DHCP servers and DNS and other DNS servers as well. So, but for now, this is a great start. Click on next. We will be selecting Active Directory domain services, add features. All of these other things, well, there's DHCP, there's Hyper-V if you want to do a Hyper-V server, there's a web server, which is actually Not that anyone uses Windows as a web server, because Linux is the way to go, but if you want to whip up something really quickly for your intranet, just something really fast, this is great actually. Now, I'm not selecting DNS server, but does an Active Directory use DNS? Yes, it does, but I'm leaving that for later. Do not select that now. It's going to cause you more issues than, you know. So click on next. There's a lot of other cool stuff, and I can't wait to teach you all of this stuff. But for now, we'll just move on to the next. Next. Now we are just going to install it, and it will install. Later on, once this finishes, then we will promote it to a domain controller. So, domain controller, it's like the top of the hierarchy. It's the boss. It's like a military organization. You have the president of the US, then you have the generals. I think, I'm not an expert in politics or defense. Then you have the captains and the, I used to work in the Navy too, and I should know all this, but you have, I'm not serving, but as a contractor, what are they? Petty officers, anyway. But they have a ranking system. The domain controller is the top rank of the whole of the Active Directory domain. All right, so that's good. We're successful. Click on close. But we've installed Active Directory, but we need to promote it to a domain controller to make it, promote it. I join the army, I get promoted to general or whatever that is. So let's click on that flag there. That's a warning saying, look, not really a warning. It's like, I need your attention. So click on that. Promote this server to the domain controller. Select add a new forest. What forest? There is no forest. A forest is a group of resources that, and you have like each domain controller is like a kind of like a portion of the tree. It's like a triangle at the top. As your business grows, your tree gets bigger. It gets so big that you might need another tree and another tree. I mean, these are huge monster organizations. These are Tesla, these are no, maybe not, I'm not sure about Apple, but these are like government organizations. It gets bigger and bigger. But I only have one computer at the moment, one server. Well, apparently, according to Microsoft and according to the protocols and the designers of the Active Directory structure, one portion of a tree, not even a tree itself, but that's just that one domain controller is the start of a forest. So start of a tree, start of a forest. So it will hopefully build. And that's why this is such a powerful solution, because it can expand. It's scalable. Scalable is an important word in IT. If you're running a fish and chip shop and that's all you're ever going to do, you don't have to worry about this. But hopefully one day, if you're creating a business or working for a business that's going to grow and grow and grow, this is really important. We need to make sure it adds to new forest. We're going to give it a name. I'm going to call it the harry.com domain. Why not? Usually organizations register a domain name on the internet that will match that as well. They don't have to, but they can. Next. Getting there, getting closer. Just having a bit of a think. Now, in this process, as we promote this to a domain controller, that's when DNS gets installed. Okay, good. I'm not going to explain all of this in this video, but I might in another because it's important. Well, really quickly, where it's got, and it's still thinking at the moment, I think maybe I don't have enough, I didn't give it that much RAM, I should push it more. Yep, the forest functional level, domain functional level. Do not put this under 2016. First of all, these servers are deprecated, they're no longer supported. And you reduce the ability of your servers to do what they're designed for. 2016, why? And not 2019 or 2025, whatever it is. 2016, most of the things in 2016 that Active Directory can do, it's pretty much the same as 2025. There's not much difference. They haven't changed that much, except making it look nicer here and there. But that's about it. This is the password for the restore mode. It's just in case you I guess if you lose, if you delete the directory server somehow, and you lose the password or something like that. We can talk about that in another video. But here we go. This is DNS options. It will install DNS now. Next, NetBIOS, which is an ancient version of DNS. No one uses it that much. There might be a printer or a scanner or some sort of device out there that can't join Active Directory for some reason. It's just a NetBIOS name. Just ignore it. Just press next. These are really important folders. And in a large organization, you'd have to have a plan on where you're going to put these databases, because Active Directory is just one big database. But for now, let's just move. We should talk about this in another video. Okay, we're ready to go now. Something really cool though, where it says view script, right there. Watch this. If I click on it, there it is. It gives me a PowerShell script. So it has everything. So I don't have to go through that painful process of point and click anymore. Get in the habit of learning PowerShell, using PowerShell commands. You'll be better off. I might even make a PowerShell series if people want it. All right, we'll go to next. And now this is the all-important prerequisite check. This is like you apply for a credit card. You give them your bank detail, your salary, what you claim to make, your salary details, what you claim to make, that you claim that you're paying things on time. Well, they're going to the banks will check your credit history to make sure that this is before they give you. They say, yeah, we believe you, but we don't believe you. This is kind of doing that. It's going to check to make sure that all of my configuration is good. If I don't put a static IP address, it won't let me go through. If I don't have a password for my administrator account, it will stop me here. Everything is fine, I've passed. You might get a couple of these yellow attention symbols. You can ignore these for now. Install. Now we're going to restart, or it will automatically restart several times. When it restarts, it will go back into the initial login. You'll use administrator and the password that we set before, but you're not going to be logging into the computer anymore. You'll be logging into the domain. Your computer now is a domain controller. So there is that still that separation in this computer of local and domain controller, but the domain controller has the administrator, which is the domain-wide controller. For us, in this example, that's the all-important activity we need to do. There's a really good course with CompTIA. They have Server Plus. They talk a little bit more about this in there. But of course, Microsoft have their own versions of their courses, which are really good. Yeah. So I'm going to pause this video, and what will happen is this will reboot and restart and do its cycle, and I'll come back when we get back into that login screen. You don't have to do anything now. You just wait. All right. See you in a few moments. Just really quickly, before I'm just back for a second, if you're just about to be signed out, click on close. Otherwise, you just get stuck there. Then it will do the restart. So, okay, pause again. I'll see you in the future. Okay, fantastic. Let's see if the domain controller works. That took about 10 minutes. Let's see if this works. So, Alt Control Delete. Remember, we've got this button up here, right there. Sorry, not that one. This one, Alt Control Delete. Click on that, and the password is the normal password. And now we should have Active Directory up and running. Let's see, we'll find out if it does get there. And I just have to wait, unfortunately. Just a little bit of a patience kind of thing, but that's normal. We should have some more things popping up now. So if this is successful, then we can then go on to the next task, which is getting our Windows 10 machine, logging on to the domain, which is cool. Okay, so that's it. This is good. So we've got DNS, Active Directory servers there. We're all good to go. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. That was Domain Controller